Check this.
And welcome back. And this is Review Geek 3000. And you are here for one reason only, and that is to eat, sleep, game, repeat. To watch exclusive content, so please like, share, subscribe, smash that notification bell. And as always on this channel, stay awesome. Yes, guys, welcome to the Contenders Corner podcast, episode 44. And this, guys, is a different kind of show today. But we are going to be discussing Mick Foley's Mankind. Again, guys, join us weekly over on YouTube for everything that is wrestling. But this is what it's all about, guys. And we are going to be discussing Mankind. Mick Foley's Mankind on WWF, guys. So this is a different kind of video today, guys, and we're going to be discussing Mankind in WWF. The time that he had during his stint in 1996 to 1998. And again, guys, this is going to be done in a number of videos, guys. So in this episode, we're just going to be discussing Mankind, and then on the next episode, we're going to rate him. We're going to rate the three faces of Mick Foley. We're going to highlight his career. We're going to deliver on his best matches, guys. And then we are going to rate him. Guys, we're going to outline his belts during his time in WWF. And then, guys, the moment that you've all been waiting for on episode 2, guys, is Mankind's Contenders Corner wrestling rating, guys. And there it will be in the part 2 episode. So during this week, guys, we're going to be doing a lot of content on here. And then stay tuned for that, guys. It's going to be Mankind this week. All Mankind. But anyway, guys, join us over on our Facebook page. And over there, guys, it is linked to our YouTube channel. And again, guys, it's just mainly been produced so we can reach a wider audience. And again, guys, our schedule is the Contenders Corner, Film Parade, our gaming streams, guys, and our monthly unboxings. You can catch us over on Instagram on the Geek Collections. You can catch us over on Twitter at rgeek3000. And again, guys, a massive shout out to all our fans, guys. We love you on this channel, and we appreciate your support. And again, guys, if you enjoy watching our channel, then stay tuned. There is a lot for us on the cards this month, guys. We've got WrestleMania over the horizon, and there is a lot more to produce, guys. We have got events on the brink of reopening, guys, and we're going to take the Contenders Corner to a different level, guys, in the next new months to come. You know, we've got the Love of Wrestling. Hopefully, guys, by November, the Contenders Corner will be doing a show at the Love of Wrestling, guys. We're going to do a live stream on YouTube in November. And again, guys, that is the event where we do a meet and greet for WWE wrestlers. And it'll be there in Manchester, guys, or Liverpool, where the Contenders Corner will be doing daily streams as we enjoy the Love of Wrestling event in Liverpool. But anyway, guys, apart from that, there is more on the cards for this channel, guys, and it's just going to get better and better. You know, again, guys, don't be afraid to tell me my flaws, guys. We only grow and learn on this channel, and we appreciate your critique, guys. So don't be afraid to let me know if there's anything bad on this channel, if there's anything that we do out of turn. But anyway, guys, apart from that, have a great morning, have a great afternoon, have a great evening, wherever you are in the world. But again, as always on this channel, you lovely YouTubers, stay awesome. But let's kick off the show, guys. This is the Mankind special on the Contenders Corner. Let's get it up. Anyway, guys, from 1996 through to 1988, we saw the three faces of Mick Foley. In 1996, at the persistence of Jim Ross, whom Mick Foley had known in his days in WCW, WWF, the head of WWF, as we know, Vince McMahon, brought on Foley, and he signed a contract with WWF then, now WWE. And this time, the WWF did not use Mick Foley as enhancement talent. McMahon was not a fan of Cactus Jack and wanted to cover up Foley's face. So, he was shown several designs for a new heel character. A man with a leather mask and chains called Mason the Mutilator. However, WWF decided that it was too dark and only left the mask. And although interested in the concept of the character, Foley did not like the name. So he came up with the name Mankind, which Vince McMahon liked and approved. Foley arrived in the WWF in 1996, debuting a gimmick that was perhaps his most famous personality, which was Mankind. He was a mentally deranged miscreant who constantly squealed, even throughout the matches, guys. Shrieked, squealed. He even shrieked "mommy," spoke to a rat named George, enjoyed pain, physically abused himself, such as pulling out his hair, and wore a mask. Mankind's finishing move was the mandible claw. Who now? The Fiend takes on that special manoeuvre. But anyway, guys, nerve hold, which involved sticking his ring and middle fingers in his opponent's mouth. His catchphrase was, "Have a nice day." And he lived in the boiler rooms, hence his specialty match, the Boiler Room Brawl. His specific match was a chaotic, dangerous and sometimes violent match that took place inside an arena's mechanical boiler room, with all sorts of exposed metal piping with large bolts, concrete flooring and solid electrical equipment everywhere. And it was a no disqualification and no count out match. So foreign objects were allowed, and the match's objective was to escape the boiler room first. On April 1st, 1996, episode of Monday Night Raw in San Bernardino, California, the day after WrestleMania, Mankind debuted on TV and defeated Bob Holly. Quickly moving into a feud with The Undertaker, the creatively inclined and dedicated Foley initially would prepare for playing Mankind by researching the character, often spending the night in the respective arena's boiler room and sometimes under the wrestling ring for the first few months. But after that, he could get into the character almost instantly. The two then became interfering in the other's matches until they were booked in the first ever Boiler Room Brawl, and in addition to escaping the arena's boiler room, the combatant also had to reach the ring and take the urn from Paul Bearer. After 30 minutes of brawling in the boiler room and the backstage corridors and the entrance ramp, and both men taking some bumps involving metal trash cans, tables, ladders, metal poles, hot coffee and the exposed concrete floor, The Undertaker appeared to have won, but Paul Bearer refused to hand him the urn, allowing Mankind to win, thus ending the relationship between Paul Bearer and The Undertaker. While Paul Bearer was Mankind's manager, Mankind referred to him as Uncle Paul. Mankind then became the number one contender to face the then WF champion Shawn Michaels at In Your House Mind Games. Michaels won by disqualification via interference by Vader and The Undertaker. The Mankind and The Undertaker rivalry continued with the first ever Buried Alive match at In Your House Buried Alive. Undertaker won the match, but Paul Bearer, the Executioner, Mankind and the other heels attacked The Undertaker and buried him alive. Afterward, The Undertaker challenged Mankind to a match at Survivor Series, which The Undertaker won. The feud continued after another match at In Your House, Revenge of the Taker for the WF World Heavyweight Championship, which Undertaker had won at WrestleMania 13. Undertaker won the match and Bearer took a leave of absence, continuing the feud. Jim Ross then began conducting a series of interviews with Mankind. During the interviews, Ross brought up the topic of Foley's home videos and the hippie-inspired character he played in them. Dude Love, as well as his tormented journey in wrestling. The interviews also affected the fans, who began cheering Mankind, turning him into a face. Around this time, Stone Cold Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels won the WWF Tag Team Championships from Owen Hart and the British Bulldog, but Michaels was injured and could no longer compete. Mankind tried to replace him, but Austin said he wanted nothing to do with a freak, and resigned himself to facing Hart and Bulldog alone the next week. Halfway into the match, however, Foley debuted a new persona known as Dude Love, who helped Austin take the victory, becoming the new tag team champions. Austin and Foley vacated their tag team titles when Austin suffered a neck injury in a match at SummerSlam in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Dude Love feuded with Hunter Hearst Helmsley as the two competed in a Falls Count Anywhere match. One of Foley's most memorable vignettes aired before the match began, in which Dude Love and Mankind discussed who should wrestle the upcoming match. Eventually, they decided that it should be Cactus Jack, and Foley's old character made his WWF debut. Cactus Jack won the match with a pole driver through a table. In September 1997, Foley, as Mankind, wrestled Sabu at Terry Funk's WrestleFest, an event organised to mark the retirement of Foley's friend Terry Funk. Funk, however, broke his retirement soon after the event, and in December 1997 he joined the WWF as Chainsaw Charlie, aligning himself with Foley. At the 1998 Royal Rumble, Foley participated under all three personas: Cactus Jack, the first entry, Mankind, the 16th entry, and Dude Love, the 28th entry. Charlie and Jack defeated the New Age Outlaws at WrestleMania in a dumpster match to win the tag team titles, which was originally supposed to be a barbed wire rope match. But this was very often violent and bloody match was scrapped due to the high profile appearance of Mike Tyson taking part at the event. The next night, however, Vince McMahon stripped them of the belts, citing that Charlie and Jack had put the Outlaws in a random backstage dumpster and not the original dumpster brought ringside and scheduled a rematch in a steel cage, which the Outlaws won with the help from their new alloys, D-Generation X, on April 6, 1998. Foley turned heel when Cactus Jack explained the fans would not see him anymore because they did not appreciate him and only cared about Stone Cold Steve Austin. After a hard-fought match with Terry Funk in Albany, fans started to leave the arena a minute or so before their match ended. Howard Finkel, the ring announcer there, announced that Austin, who was the hottest wrestler in the WWE at the time, would be making an appearance, and the crowd exploded at the news. Many rushed back to their seats. Foley later admitted that this crowd reaction emotionally hurt him and that his hard work could not compete with Austin's popularity, and that he would be just another wrestler to face the company's megastar. Vince McMahon explained to Austin the next week that he would face a mystery opponent at Unforgiven. The opponent turned out to be Dude Love, who won the match by DQ, meaning that Austin retained the title. McMahon, displeased with the outcome, required Foley to prove he deserved another shot at Austin's title with a number one contenders match against his former partner Terry Funk. The match was both the WWF's first ever hardcore match and the first time that Foley wrestled under his name. Foley won, and after the match, a proud McMahon came out to Dude Love's music and presented Foley with a Dude Love costume. At Over the Edge, Dude Love took on Austin for the title. McMahon designated his subordinates Gerald Briscoe and Pat Patterson at the timekeeper and ring announcer and made himself the special referee. However, The Undertaker came out to ringside to ensure McMahon called the match fairly, and with his presence, Dude Love lost the match and was fired by McMahon on June 1st episode of Raw. On that same episode of Raw, Foley reverted to his Mankind character, who had become a more human and less creature-like character, and began wearing an untucked shirt with a loose necktie, and also resumed his feud with The Undertaker. At King of the Ring in Pittsburgh Civic Arena on June 28th, the two performed in the third Hell in a Cell match, which became one of the most notable matches in professional wrestling history. Foley received numerous injuries and took two dangerous, highly influential bumps, the first being tossed off the top of the 16-foot high cell by The Undertaker, crashing through the wooden Spanish announcer's table and landing on the arena's concrete floor. Barely 5 minutes after the first bump, Foley, with a separated shoulder, climbed back up to the top of the cell after Terry Funk and others tried to stop him. And the second bump, which was an unplanned botch, The Undertaker choke slammed Foley, and the fence panel Foley landed on broke and gave way, and Foley then plunged 13 feet through the cell and landed on the ring mat. Mankind lost the match to conclude their storyline. Oh, I've got to get that through, mate. And then 1998 to 2000, guys, we saw Mankind as the WWF champion. Although conventional wisdom holds that the Hell in a Cell match was responsible for Foley's rise to main event status, live television crowds did not initially get behind Mankind because of the match. Following a couple of months of teaming with Kane, who together won the WWF Tag Team Total Championships, on 2 separate occasions, and various feuds with Kane, Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Undertaker, Foley decided that crowds might respond better if Mankind were more of a comedy character, and so he abandoned the tortured soul characteristic and became more of a goofy, broken down oof who began the transition into this character following SummerSlam in 1998 after Kane turned on him and the two lost the tag team championships. The following month, Foley began on an angle with Vince McMahon, with Mankind trying to be a friend to the hated Mr. McMahon. On October 5th episode of Raw, while Mankind was in hospital nursing wounds suffered at the hands of The Undertaker and Kane, Mankind arrived with a female clown called Yerple in an attempt to cheer him up. Having succeeded only in irritating McMahon, Mankind then took a filthy sock off his foot to create a sock puppet named Mr. Socko, intended to be one-time joke and suggested by Al Snow. Socko became an overnight sensation. Mankind began putting the sock on his hand before applying his finisher, the mandible claw, stuffing a smelly sock in the mouths of opposing wrestlers. The sweat sock became massively popular with fans, mainly because it was marketed by Jerry the King Lawler as being a dirty, smelly, sweaty, repulsive and vile sock. McMahon manipulated Mankind, who saw the WWF owner as a father figure, into doing his bidding. McMahon created the Hardcore Championship and awarded it to Mankind, making him the first ever champion of the Hardcore division. Mankind was then pushed as the favourite to win the WWF Championship at Survivor Series, as McMahon appeared to be manipulating the tournament so that Mankind would win. He and The Rock both reached the finals, where Mankind turned on Mankind. As The Rock placed Mankind in the sharpshooter, Mankind ordered the timekeeper to ring the bell, even though Mankind did not submit, a reference to the Montreal Screwjob from the year before. As a result of the Survivor Series, Mankind officially turned face, while The Rock turned heel and became the crown jewel in McMahon's new corporation faction. After weeks of trying to get his hand on McMahon's new faction, the corporation, Mankind received a title shot against The Rock at Rock Bottom in Your House. Mankind won the match by using his mandible claw hold with Mr. Socko, and the referee declared The Rock had become unresponsive. But Mr. McMahon overruled the title change because Mankind didn't keep his pre-match promise to make The Rock submit. After several weeks of going after the corporation, Mankind defeated The Rock to win his first WWF Championship on December 29 in Worcestershire, Massachusetts. The tape show was broadcast on January 4th, 1999, so that is the date WWE recognises as beginning the title run. Having title changes on broadcast television rather than the pay-per-view was uncommon in professional wrestling, but because of the Monday Night Wars, TV ratings became more important. The heads of rival promotion WCW, Eric Bischoff, attempted to take advantage of the fact that their show Monday Nitro aired live while Mankind's title victory was taped the week before. Had an announcer, Tony Schiavone, revealed the ending of the Mankind Rock match before it aired. He then added sarcastically that'll put a lot of butts in the seats. The move backfired for WCW, as Nielsen ratings showed that Raw won the ratings battle that night, despite the Hulk Hogan vs Kevin Nash main event, which led to the reformation of the New World Order. Foley said that the ratings indicate that large numbers of viewers switched from Nitro to Raw to see him win the title and took great personal pride from this, and WCW never beat the WF in the TV ratings ever again. Mankind lost the WF Championship to The Rock in an I Quit match at Royal Rumble at the Arrowhead Pond in Anaheim, California, near Los Angeles, in what is regarded as one of the company's most brutal matches. During the match, Foley took several violent and dangerous bumps from The Rock all over the arena, including repeated steel chair shots at the head and a fall from the stands onto solid electrical objects, which sparked upon impact. Although steel chair shots to the head were commonplace in the Attitude Era, the most a wrestler would take in a single time 10-minute match was 2 or sometimes 3 with their heads in front of their head to ease the blow and lessen the chance of concussion. However, Foley had taken 11 in the span of 2.5 minutes, all unprotected because he had been handcuffed just before The Rock began his repeated onslaught. Foley was originally supposed to take 5 chair shots to the head, with the final match ending shot being 2/3 up the entrance ramp. But after the 5th shot, Foley was still at ringside, and even after Foley signalled to The Rock to hit him in the back, The Rock decided to keep to the match's brutal tone based on Foley's previous on-the-fly calling of the similar shots on the spot. And he hit Foley 6 more times in the head until they got to the 2/3 mark. This match is featured in Barry Bluestein's documentary Beyond the Mat, which shows the impact the match had on Foley, his family, and even the rest of the audience at ringside. At one point, Foley's 5-year-old daughter, Noelle, cried and screamed in horror, believing her father was dying, as The Rock pummeled Foley with repeated chair shots. The match at this point had become so brutal that it got to a point where furious people sitting in the front of the audience shouted at the referee and The Rock to stop the match, showing signs of disapproval at The Rock. The match ended after Mankind lost consciousness and The Rock's allies played a recording of Mankind saying "I quit" from an earlier interview he did with Shane McMahon. Mankind won the title back in a rematch on Halftime Heat, which aired during halftime of Super Bowl in the WWF's first ever empty arena match in Tucson, Arizona on January 31st. After 20 minutes of brawling in the ring, the empty grandstands, a kitchen, the arena's hallway, an office and the catering hall, Mankind took a filthy sock out off his foot and stuffed it into The Rock's mouth, and then used a forklift to pin a subdued Rock in a basement loading area. The two then competed in a last man standing match at St. Valentine's Day Massacre, which ended without a winner, meaning that Mankind retained the title. The next night, Mr. McMahon booked a ladder match for the championship, which The Rock won with help from The Big Show. Mankind would go on to WrestleMania to defeat The Big Show, and again a backlash a month later in a violent, brutal boiler room brawl, the first in the WWF since July 1996, where the objective of the match had been simplified from the 1996 match to just escape the boiler room. Shortly after Big Show would team with Mankind, Test and Shamrock to take on the Corporation, and over the edge later in the year, Foley and The Rock patched up their friendship and teamed up to form a comedy team called The Rock and Sock Connection, becoming one of the tag team titles on 3 occasions. The pair won the tag team titles on 3 occasions. One notable match was a Buried Alive match that pitched The Rock and Sock Connection against The Undertaker and The Big Show, who were out for revenge after losing the tag titles 1 week earlier. This match included a spot where The Big Show tossed Mankind off the stage, landing hard on the dirt and falling into a grave. Mankind travelled nearly 25 feet in total. Foley then helped Raw achieve its highest ratings ever with a segment featuring himself and The Rock, and This Is Your Life segment aired on September 27th, 1999 and received an 8.4 rating, with Yerpel the Clown making another appearance. Foley briefly reverted to his Cactus Jack persona for a hardcore handicap match against Ministry of Darkness members Viscera and Midian on May 10th, 1999, which Cactus Jack won. The match saw Cactus enter using 2 basketballs as weapons. In August 1999, Foley returned after a 3-month absence, recovering from knee surgery to resume his feud with Triple H, who had Kafabe injured Foley's left knee with his sledgehammer. On an episode of Raw, Mankind drew with Triple H in a match for the number 1 contender spot for the WWF Championship, which resulted in a triple threat match between Steve Austin, Triple H and Mankind at SummerSlam for the title. Foley won the WWF Championship for the 3rd time at SummerSlam, pinning the reigning champion Austin. Mankind's win led to an enraged Triple H to assault Austin, justifying Austin's absence while he healed a knee injury. The next night on Raw, Triple H defeated Mankind to win his first WWF Championship. A feud then developed between Mankind and the McMahon-Helmsley regime, led by Triple H. This included Triple H defeating Mankind in another Boiler Room Brawl on September 23rd. Another Boiler Room Brawl edition of SmackDown as part of a 5-match gauntlet challenge set upon Triple H by Vince McMahon. It was around this time that Foley began to realise that he was going to have to retire soon. In addition to the massive physical toll he had inflicted on his body, Foley then began to develop cognitive problems such as forgetting simple bodily motions and trouble remembering how to write and spell basic words. Foley's last match was supposed to be a tag team match with Al Snow in November 1999, but with WWE having to go on with the absence of their biggest star, Stone Cold Steve Austin, at the time, Foley felt that the company would suffer too badly if another one of its biggest stars disappeared from the roster, even with The Rock surging in popularity. So Foley, even in poor condition he was in, decided to go on for a few more months until Austin returned, and this is when he continued his feud with Triple H. Mankind continued this feud when he was supposed to have the last Boiler Room Brawl match with Santa Claus. He ended up being attacked by the Mean Street Posse, Billy Gunn and Road Dogg, all dressed up as Santa Claus. Mankind defeated all 5 of these Santa Clauses until Triple H appeared as a 6th Santa Claus and brought down Mankind, escaping the Boiler Room and winning as Santa Claus. On December 27th, 1999 episode of Raw, Mick Foley and The Rock had a pink slip on a pole match where whoever was first to grab the pink slip first stayed in WF, with the loser having to leave, in which Foley lost. Foley then reverted to his Cactus Jack persona in January 2000 and faced Triple H for the WWF Championship at Royal Rumble in a street fight. Cactus used a 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire and thumbtacks, trademark weapons from his pre-WF days. But Triple H won the match after delivering 2 pedigrees, the second slamming Cactus Jack face first onto pile of tacks. The feud culminated with a rematch at No Way Out in a Hell in a Cell match, where stipulations held that Cactus Jack could not use foreign metallic objects he used in the Royal Rumble, and if he did not win the title, Foley had to retire from wrestling. During the match, they had made their way onto the top of the cell, and Cactus was preparing to pile drive Triple H onto a barbed wire 2x4 on fire. But Triple H reversed it into a backdrop, causing the cage to give away, and Cactus fell through the canvas. Triple H then pinned and exhausted Cactus for a 3 count, winning the match, and Foley's career was over. Foley left for a few weeks but returned at the request of Linda McMahon to wrestle for the title by replacing Chris Jericho's spot at the main event of WrestleMania 2000 against Triple H, The Rock and Big Show. Triple H won and Foley did not wrestle again for 4 years. And that is that for this part, guys. And then we're going to continue it on again in the next episode of Mankind. And that in our next episode, guys, we're going to highlight all his belts that he's achieved, his time as commissioner, and then we're going to rate Mankind, guys. And this is the Contenders Corner, and this has been a special two-part show on here, guys, for Mankind. Anyway, guys, this is the Contenders Corner, and we'll catch you on the next episode.